TOEFL listen and repeat speed training, fast versus natural versus TOEFL speed. And this is Michael Buckoff from BetterTOEFLScores.com. So here's the key message. Speaking faster does not improve your TOEFL score. Most TOEFL speaking problems are caused by speed control, not vocabulary or grammar. So what is TOEFL listen and repeat? So TOEFL speaking task 1, listen and repeat. You hear a short scenario. You listen to 7 sentences, one time only. You repeat each sentence immediately. You have about 10 to 12 seconds per sentence. There's no text on the screen. ETS listens for clarity, rhythm, and control, not fast speech. The speed problem on TOEFL. Here are some common speed mistakes. Speaking too slowly, speaking too fast, losing rhythm under pressure, and both extremes reduce clarity. That's the key. Any speaking issues that you have, if it makes it more difficult to understand you, that's going to be a problem. So how your first language affects speaking speed. Your speaking speed in English is often influenced by how your first language works, not by your English level. So different languages organize rhythm, stress, and timing in different ways. When those patterns transfer to English, speakers may sound too slow or too fast on TOEFL. So L1s that often lead to speaking too slowly. Syllable time languages. In many languages, every syllable is spoken clearly and evenly. When this pattern translates to English, speakers may pause too much or over-separate words. Some common examples are Spanish, French, Italian, and Korean. So what it sounds like in English, you might say, students must submit the form by Friday. So problems, broken rhythm, overpronunciation, choppy delivery. L1s that often lead to speaking too quickly. Tone-focused or moral time languages. Some languages focus on tone, pitch, or very short timing units. Speakers may rush through English sentences without enough stress or reduction. Common examples, Mandarin Chinese, Cantonese, and Japanese. So what it sounds like in English, it might be, students must submit the form by Friday, or there might not be any pauses at all in the sentence. So missing stress, reduced clarity, listener overload. And this is the key. I think speaking too quickly without the appropriate pauses, it makes it more difficult for listening comprehension. That's the issue. L1s that often mix speed problems. Some languages cause both problems depending on the speaker. Examples, Arabic, Russian, Vietnamese. Speakers may slow down too much on difficult sounds, speed up when feeling confident, lose rhythm under pressure. The TOEFL reality. ETS does not penalize accents. They penalize unclear timing and rhythm. TOEFL appropriate speed means clear stress and important words, smooth thought groups, controlled pacing. The key message, your goal is not to copy native speed. Your goal is to control rhythm, group meaning, stay clear under pressure. When rhythm improves, speed becomes natural, regardless of your first language. What is TOEFL appropriate speed? I get this question a lot. So TOEFL speed equals natural controlled speech. It's not fast, not slow, clear and steady. Most native speakers speak at about 120 to 150 words per minute in academic English. Why native speed works. What makes 120 to 150 words per minute understandable? Sentence rhythm, thought groups, natural blending between words. Speed comes from organization, not rushing. So let's talk about sentence rhythm. Rhythm creates natural speed. You put more stress on content words, you reduce function words, you keep a steady beat. So rhythm helps listeners follow meaning quickly. In other words, you do not put stress on every single word in the sentence. How rhythm creates natural TOEFL speed. The key idea: English rhythm is based on stress, not equal timing. Some words are strong, some words are weak. This creates a steady, natural rhythm. Example 1, flat rhythm. You're not TOEFL ready if you do this. Every word stressed equally. Students must submit the form by Friday. Problem: sounds robotic, hard to follow, no clear focus. In other words, there's no distinction between the content and the function words. There's equal stress on all words. Example 2, natural English rhythm, TOEFL ready. So content words stressed, small words reduced. Notice, students must submit the form by Friday. Why this works: clear meaning, natural pace, listener understands quickly. Let's look at the sentence one more time. So if you see the words in bold, let's read those without reading the grammatical words. Students must submit form. Actually, students submit form by Friday, right? So let's not pronounce must, the, or by. Even modals don't have to be pronounced that clearly. So why this works: clear meaning, natural pace, listener understands quickly. Example 3, longer sentence rhythm. This is what you don't want to do. The professor explained the assignment very clearly. It's better, more natural. The professor explained the assignment very clearly. Thought groups. Thought groups control speed. We speak in meaning units, not word by word. Example: students who plan ahead usually perform better on exams. Thought groups. Rule number 1, break at natural meaning units. Rule: group words that belong together. Example: students who plan ahead perform better on exams. Why this works: the pause separates the description from the main idea. Listeners process meaning easily. Thought groups. Rule number 2, pause after introductory phrases. Introductory phrases form their own thought group. In many academic courses, students must complete written assignments. Why this works: sets context first, prevents rush beginnings. Thought groups. Rule number 3, break before long prepositional phrases. Long prepositional phrases often belong in a new thought group. Example: the final project is due at the end of the semester. Why this works: keeps the sentence balanced, avoids information overload. So you're separating it into two parts. The project is due at the end of the semester. Thought groups. Rule number 4, separate clauses clearly. Independent and dependent clauses usually form separate thought groups. Example: although the assignment was challenging, most students completed it successfully. Why this works: makes complex sentences easier to follow, highlights cause and effect relationships. Thought groups. Rule number 5, group lists and key ideas. Each important item in a list deserves its own thought group. The course emphasizes reading, writing, and critical thinking. Why this works: gives each idea equal weight, improves clarity and rhythm. Thought group summary. Good thought groups follow meaning, reduce listener effort, control speaking speed, improve TOEFL clarity. Key reminder: speak in ideas, not individual words. Blending between words. Blending prevents choppy speech. Examples: next assignment, most students, end of the term. Blending keeps speech smooth and efficient. Blending rule number 1, consonant-vowel linking. When a word ends in a consonant and the next word begins with a vowel, the sounds link smoothly. Example: turn off, next assignment. Why this matters: prevents choppy speech, maintains natural rhythm. Blending rule number 2, same or similar consonants hold, don't repeat. When two words end and begin with the same or similar consonant, hold the sound once. Example: big goal, last student. Why this matters: avoids extra pauses, keeps speech efficient. Notice how I didn't say big goal or last student. I said big goal, last student. So I'm kind of holding that final consonant sound at the beginning or at the end of the first word and blending it with the first sound of the next word. Blending rule number 3, stop consonants are often unreleased. Final stop sounds, P, B, T, D, K, G, are often not fully released before the next word. Example: sit down, good grade. Why this matters: reduces overpronunciation, sounds more natural to ETS listeners. And remember, if you overpronunciate or overpronounce words, you're going to slow down more. It's going to hurt your speaking rate. Blending rule number 4, reduce function words and attach. So here's a rule. Small grammar words like of, to, for, a, and the, we call these prepositions, we call these determiners. They reduce and attach to nearby words. Example: end of the term, want to apply, or even want to apply. But I would be careful about TOEFL. I would not reduce it quite that much. I want to apply. Why this matters: creates natural speed, preserves sentence rhythm. Blending rule number 5. The consonant, you have the Y. When certain consonants meet a sound, they blend into a new sound. For example, did you turns to did you. Next year turns into next year. So why this matters: common and natural speech prevents unnatural breaks. Blending summary. Blending helps you control speed, maintain rhythm, reduce phrases, and sound TOEFL ready. So key reminder: clear speech flows. It doesn't stop at every word. Think of it as a river. You're kind of flowing along. Okay, practice. Read at TOEFL speed, 120 to 150 words a minute. So I want to get you used to the correct reading speed, or the speed that you need to be speaking when you're doing the listen and repeat, and you're also doing the interview tasks. So the goal of this exercise is not necessarily to read faster, but the goal is to read clearly, smoothly, and confidently at a natural TOEFL speed. This is the same speed ETS expects in listen and repeat and interview speaking. As you read each paragraph, apply 3 skills together. Number 1, rhythm. Stress content words, reduce small grammar words, keep a steady beat. Thought groups. Pause at natural meaning breaks. Do not pause after every word. Speak in ideas, not syllables. Blending. Connect words smoothly. Avoid stopping at word boundaries. Let sounds flow naturally. If you do these 3 things when you're practicing right now, you're more likely to do these things during the TOEFL exam. So practice. Read at a TOEFL speed of 120 to 150 words per minute. So before you read each paragraph, listen to me read the paragraph. Notice how long it takes me. That timing is your goal. Not faster, not slower. Keep it clear and controlled. So, how do you practice? Read it once at a calm, natural pace. Read it again, focusing on rhythm and flow. If you feel rushed or choppy, slow slightly and regroup. Do not rush, do not overpronounce, focus on control. Here we go. So, the first paragraph, I've already timed myself reading this paragraph, and it took me 61 seconds. So focus on rhythm, not individual words. So I will read the paragraph first. You pause the video and then read it out loud yourself. Can you do it in approximately 61 seconds? That is your goal. One of the most effective strategies for the TOEFL listen and repeat task is focusing on sentence rhythm instead of individual words. Many students try to repeat every word perfectly, but this often causes them to speak too slowly or hesitate. On the TOEFL exam, clarity matters more than perfection. English is a stress time language, which means some words are naturally stressed while others are reduced. By stressing content words such as nouns, verbs, and adjectives, and reducing small grammar words, speakers sound clearer and more natural. During preparation, students should practice listening for stress words and copying the rhythm of the sentence. On test day, this approach helps students stay calm and maintain control, even if they miss a small word. When rhythm is clear, ETS listeners can easily follow the meaning of the sentence, which leads to a stronger speaking score. Paragraph 2. Use thought groups to control speed and clarity. So this paragraph, it took me about 61 seconds to read. Now you notice is when I created the paragraph, I wanted to create a paragraph that would give you practice trying to develop the reading speed, but also give you important information about the listen and repeat task. Okay, this one took me 61 seconds, about the same time as the previous one. Another key strategy for success in the listen and repeat task is using thought groups. Thought groups are forms of units of meaning that help organize speech and control pacing. Many students speak too fast because they try to repeat the entire sentence without pauses, while others speak too slowly by pausing after every word. Both problems reduce clarity. During practice, students should learn to pause naturally at meaning breaks, such as after introductory phrases or before long prepositional phrases. This makes sentences easier to understand and reduces mental pressure. On the TOEFL exam, using thought groups helps students manage time effectively and avoid rushing. Even when sentences become longer, clear thought groups allow speakers to sound confident and organized. ETS listeners value speech that flows in logical units because it is easier to process and sounds more natural in an academic setting. Paragraph 3. Blend words to sound natural under time pressure. So this one took me a little bit longer. There's some academic words in here and things. So this one took me 64 seconds. Your goal is to be able to read it out loud in approximately 64 seconds. Now, as I read it, like the previous two paragraphs, pay attention to the pausing. Pay attention to the blending of the words within the thought groups. Pay attention to my tone even. At the end of each thought group, when I pause, you'll notice how my tone is slightly inflected. When I get to the end of the sentence, my tone will fall. Right? This is all important to help you develop clarity if you can do these things. Blending is an essential strategy that helps students sound natural and maintain appropriate speed during the listen and repeat task. Blending means connecting words smoothly instead of stopping at each individual word boundary. Many TOEFL speakers overpronounce words, which causes choppy speech and wastes valuable time. During preparation, Students should practice linking consonants and vowels, reducing function words, and holding similar consonant sounds instead of repeating them. This creates smoother, more efficient speech. On test day, blending helps students repeat sentences quickly without sounding rushed. It also reduces pronunciation errors caused by stress and nervousness. When words flow naturally, students can focus on meaning rather than mechanics. ETS listeners are not listening for perfect pronunciation, they're listening for speech that is easy to understand. Effective blending supports clarity, rhythm, and confidence throughout the speaking section. Practice set one, campus office reminders. So now that you've had some pretty good practice trying to improve your rhythm, your blending, your thought groups, I've given you some good tips. Let's do 3 practice sets now, starting with campus office reminder. So again, listen to the following sentences and repeat them exactly as you hear them. Remember, try to really focus on rhythm, on thought groups, and blending. Number 1, please check your email. Number 2, important updates are sent daily. 3, students should read all messages. 4, some notices require immediate action. 5, deadlines are included in each message. 6, missing emails can cause serious problems. 7, always respond promptly to important university communication. 'Example sentences. Practice set 2, class assignment instructions scenario. Listen to and repeat the sentences exactly as you hear them. Remember, you're trying to focus on rhythm, on thought groups, and blending. Number 1, the assignment is due soon. 2, students must submit their work online. 3. Late submissions receive reduced credit. 4. Clear formatting is required for grading. 5. The professor expects organized academic writing. 6. Detailed instructions are posted on the course website. 7. Review all assignments carefully before submitting your final assignment. 'Example sentences. Now, as you listen to your recording, you need to pay attention to a few things here, right? Because ultimately, if you can self assess and figure out what your own problems are, that's exactly how you become a better speaker of English because you realize what you need to do to improve. Now, notice, for example, in sentence 2 there, did you make sure you didn't put too much stress on the word must and there? You said students must submit their work online, right? So don't put a lot of stress on those function words. Let me look at one other thing you can look at. How about number 3? Did you pronounce the grammatical word endings? For example, in 3, submissions, which is the plural s ending, and then the ed, which is the past tense ending. So late submissions receive reduced credit, and the ed in 3 sounds actually like a T and not a D. So always pay attention to the little things when you practice. That way you don't need to worry about them when you take the TOEFL exam. Remember that you must practice now, not 1 week before the TOEFL exam. Practice set 3, academic study announcement. Listen to and repeat the sentences exactly as you hear them. Number 1, a new study is recruiting participants. Number 2, the research focuses on student learning behavior. 3, participation requires attending several scheduled sessions. 4, data will be collected through surveys and interviews. 5, all information will remain confidential throughout the study. 6, Participants will receive feedback after the research concludes. Seven, interested students should contact the research team for additional details. Example sentences. So how did you do on these? So let me show you a couple of things here. Did you notice in some of these cases, I had a pause. A lot of these sentences are a little bit short, right? But let's look at where it says all information. I think that's number 5. Notice how I pause right before that prepositional phrase at the end. All information will remain confidential throughout the study. So when you listen to that sentence, number 1, did you pause after confidential? Number 2, did you have a slightly inflected tone at the end of the word confidential? And then when you got to the end of the sentence, did your tone fall? Right? If you can say yes to those things, you're definitely moving in the right direction. So, did you have any problems forgetting the end of the sentence? I've been getting this comment quite a bit at YouTube. So students are saying, Michael, I hear the sentence, and then when I try to repeat it, I can't remember the end of the sentence. So I cannot finish the task with the sentence. So this is very common in TOEFL listen and repeat and not necessarily a sign of weak English. So I'm assuming if you're watching this video and you're still watching it right now, you probably have advanced English proficiency. So here's why it happens. The sentence is usually longer than your working memory. You focus too hard on individual words. You try to repeat the sentence word by word. Anxiety increases during the task. Actually, strategy number 1 here. So listen for meaning, not words. So instead of memorizing every word, focus on the main idea of the sentence. During listening, ask yourself, what is the sentence about? What is the key action? If you understand the meaning, your brain can reconstruct missing words more easily. Strategy 2. Use thought groups while listening. So do not listen to the sentence as one long string. Mentally divide it into 2 or 3 thought groups. And remember, do not at any time try to memorize word for word. That is a disaster. You'll have a heart attack. Your brain's going to blow up if you try to do that. So here's the example. Students who plan ahead usually perform better on final exams. So you can think about 3 things there. Number 1, students who plan ahead. That's the first thought group. And then usually perform better. That's the second thought group. And then the prepositional phrase is the third on final exams. You don't need to remember everything at once, just one group at a time. Strategy 3. Anchor the sentence ending. Many TOEFL sentences end with a time phrase, by Friday, next semester, a location on the website, in the library, a purpose, for grading, or for approval. Train yourself to listen carefully at the end because this information is very predictable. Strategy 4. Start speaking immediately. Do not wait until you remember the entire sentence. Begin repeating as soon as the audio ends. Speaking the beginning of the sentence helps your brain trigger memory, reduce anxiety, recall the ending more easily. Silence makes memory worse. So the longer you wait and the more silence you have, the greater the chance you have of forgetting the end of that sentence. Strategy 5, keep going even if you miss a word. If you miss a word near the end, do not stop, do not restart, use the most natural wording you can and finish the sentence. ETS rewards continuous, clear speech, not perfect recall, especially with sentence number 6 and 7. What ETS really cares about? ETS is listening for clarity, rhythm, control. They're not checking whether every word is perfect. A strong ending with clear rhythm is better than silence or restarting. And thank you for watching this video. Keep going. Don't stop. For full preparation, check out my TOEFL Writing Course 2026 and my American English Accent Reduction course, where I help you build clarity, confidence, and control. If you want personalized TOEFL speaking and writing feedback, visit bettertoeflscores.com for clear connections and practical guidance. Keep listening, keep speaking, keep practicing actively. You're making real progress. If you're reading and you're hearing me right now, you're already making great progress. I wish you the best on your TOEFL, and I will see you in the next video.